Chris, can you describe for us just how bad the situation is there on the ground in Pakistan?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it really is a national calamity of epic proportions. We had significant floods in 2010 and never thought that it was going to be possible to see anything quite as bad. But these floods, 100 bridges destroyed, 800,000, over 1 million or so, or close to 1 million livestock have perished. 2 million acres of crops and orchards have also been devastated, and that's on top of the loss of life. So the impact is going to be lasting, that's for sure. Our immediate concern is obviously being able to bring support and assistance with, in collaboration with the government, to those people who are immediately affected.
Right, but now the situation, the humanitarian situation, is expected to worsen as communities and infrastructures are, increasingly unable to cope. What would you say are the most immediate needs?
Well, certainly shelter. Shelter has been a challenge. Being able to get tents to those people who've been displaced, who've lost their houses and who are now living out in the open. And next to flood water, of course, means that they are exposed to a very serious health hazard, waterborne diseases. So, yeah, we definitely need to have a shelter. We need to have the medicines to be able to protect those people. And food, inevitably, is always a critical life-saving component part of any kind of humanitarian response.
What kind of challenges are you facing right now when you're trying to bring help to people in need?
Well, for the United Nations family and our partners, honestly, the first challenge we have is actually getting the finance. We're all voluntary funded. We depend on the generosity of donor governments. We have been able to pivot a certain amount of our resources that from our existing programs to support the floods in the immediate term. And I should say thank you very much to the people of Canada, because we have had some flexible money from Canada, which we've been able to use to provide for affected people in Baluchistan. But that's a very small amount in relation to what's needed. We'll be launching an international flash appeal tomorrow for $160 million. There's 30 million or so that is dedicated specifically for the food and food security sector. So we would hope very much, in the first instance, that the international community to come in solidarity with the people of Pakistan and support that appeal.
What kind of things are you hearing from the residents there on the ground?
Well, I mean, just awful, tragic stories. I mean, first and foremost, of course, the worst and the most heartbreaking ones are those people who've lost their loved ones and their family members. The floods in certain parts of the country have been so violent, have been so quick, that they have just whipped people away before they've even had a chance to know that the flood was coming. It's just extraordinary. But also just the magnitude of the floods in terms of their spread and how they've taken away houses, villages, and so on and so forth, have equally brought forward some really horrific. So yeah, as in all disasters, I mean, the cost to human lives is always just so frightening and upsetting.